Who has the advantage in pitching and experience in this 2018 ALCS? My name is Mike Petraglia. This is Nick Quaglia, and this Red Sox report is brought to you by 1 in 100. Go to 1in100.co now and register for your chance to win tickets to games 1 and 2 of the 2018 ALCS between the Red Sox and Astros. Also, go to 1in100.co for your chance to enter a raffle and win tickets to the best sporting and concert tickets in town. All right, it's going to be Justin Verlander and Gerrit Cole in games 1 and 2 for the Astros. Chris Sale and David Price, a repeat of games 1 and 2 against the Yankees, going for the Red Sox. Your thoughts, the breakdown, who has the advantage, at least for the first 2 games in this series?
I mean, what can you say about Chris Sale? You know Chris Sale is going to be the starter. You know Chris Sale is one of the best pitchers in baseball. But that also goes to Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander had a great year. But there's a difference between the two. Verlander hit a slight rough patch this season. Chris Sale really didn't hit that rough patch, other than if you want to consider that injury a rough patch, which he seems to have gotten over. In Game 1, who I'm going to give the advantage to, which is incredibly tough to do, is the Houston Astros, because the Red Sox tend to do this where they go up against big competition and sometimes they just fall apart. And Verlander scares me. Verlander he's a big game pitcher. He's a playoff pitcher. He's very good in the postseason, which terrifies me in regards to the Red Sox. I'm going to have to give them the advantage there. And then as for Game 2, David Price versus Gerrit Cole, you have to go Gerrit Cole. And the conversation, David Price has not gotten a win in the postseason yet.
Right.
Garrett,
hear that theme until it changes.
You're gonna. So that one is almost a surefire thing. You can't not give the advantage there to Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole has had an excellent season, an incredible pickup by the Astros to bolster that starting rotation. Right. He is such a good pitcher, and David Price, again, going up against one of the best offenses in baseball. I just don't see how you could even think about giving David Price the advantage here.
Okay, what do you do about George Springer? He is somebody that really scares me. Alex Bregman had a tremendous year. There's no question about that. Bregman and Springer together in the middle of that Astros lineup, and we're not even talking about their spark plug of a second baseman, Jose Altuve, who obviously last year was the biggest reason perhaps that they won the World Series. But Springer and Bregman in the middle of the order. How are the Red Sox going to approach them?
So here's the problem with that. It's almost like the Yankees lineup in the sense where you can't pitch around them. Right. Because if you do pitch around them and you end up putting them on base, you just have another big bat coming up right behind them. Right. So you're going to have to pitch them. You're going to have to do what you can to get them out. But luckily, first game, Game 1, Chris Sale can get anybody out. There is nobody that, when they come up to the plate, I get worried that they can hit Chris Sale because he's that good of a pitcher. David Price, on the other hand, something that he's done this year, he's finally understood that he's no longer a power pitcher. His fastball is down, so he nicks the corners. But you're going to have to throw in the strike zone. You're going to have to with these guys because, like I just said, if you walk Alex Bregman, somebody else is going to come up right behind him who can hit that home run, and all of a sudden you got 2 runs on the board. So
here's my biggest concern, Nick. The Astros do this as well as any team in baseball, and that is work pitchers. And they worked David Price 2 times that they faced David Price in the season. They worked him for 102 pitches and 109 pitches over 6 innings each time. You know the pitch count's going to get up quick. And as we saw against the Yankees in game number 1, you don't really want to expose the middle part of that Red Sox bullpen. I mean, it's obviously not a strength. We're not trying to kick those pitchers under the bus. It is what it is. The numbers say really indicate what they are, and that is not the strength of that Red Sox pitching staff. So to me, the Red Sox are going to have to really be careful about trying to manipulate, and I think it's up to the catchers to call a good game, both obviously Sandy Leon and Christian Vasquez, to make sure that Sale and Price aren't up near, let's say, 70 pitches by the 4th inning, or you run into trouble.
The best bet for the Red Sox is going to be almost what they did against the Yankees. The thing in the Yankee series was whoever scored first won each game. This series is going to have to be more so you have to attack the starting pitcher like the Red Sox did against Luis Severino. You're going to have to jump on them as quickly as possible because you can't, like you just said, middle relievers, you cannot get to the Red Sox middle relievers. The Red Sox while they do have good stats, they're very misleading because I can't trust them in a big game situation.
You know what? Let me cut you off there. At some point, you're going to have to trust them, and I think that's the thing about Alex Cora. He knows he's going to talk to them all, and he says, look, I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care what they say on the outside. at some point, we're going to have to trust you in a big moment. There might be one or two big moments in the whole postseason that we call upon you, and we're not going to be afraid of it.
And the other issue is, speaking of the bullpen still, while the Red Sox bullpen can be shaky at times, there are a couple guys in there that I do trust wholeheartedly. That's Ryan Brazier and Matt Barnes when he's hot. When Matt Barnes is hot, he's one of the best relievers in this Red Sox bullpen, if not top two. The Houston Astros bullpen. If you get into the Houston Astros bullpen and you knock out Justin Verlander, it's still not going to be easy to score because they're the Houston Astros pitching is number one in baseball. Their bullpen has been one of the best in baseball this year. So even if you do get past Verlander, you put up 3 runs on him, it's going to be almost as equally as tough to score runs off of that bullpen.
We saw that in the first 2 games here at Fenway Park in September, where the Astros were able to kind of stem the tide. They fell behind the Red Sox early, but the Astros were able to come from behind and win the games.
Yeah, and it's going to come down to the bullpen. This series is going to absolutely come down to the bullpens. The Astros lineup, top to bottom, it terrifies me. Even with somebody like Carlos Correa, who is having a down year, he is somebody who can get hot. And once he gets hot, that's all of a sudden another big weapon that they have in the middle of that lineup. The Red Sox offense, the key to the series, they're going to have to, like I said earlier, they're going to have to attack the starting pitching right away. They have to get on them because if they don't, it's going to be tough because this Houston Astros pitching, top to bottom, all the way down to their closer, who they traded for in the middle of the season, is dominant. You're going to have to hit the starting pitching right away. That's the biggest key to the game.
Well, and I also think it's important not to forget Garrett Cole, Dallas Keuchel, and then even Charlie Morton, who played a huge role in the Astros winning the World Series last year, coming out of the bullpen a couple of times and beating the LA Dodgers in the 7-game series. Let's not forget those pictures as well.
Yeah, Dallas Keuchel actually didn't have as great of a season as we usually see Dallas Keuchel have. Past couple of years, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. This year, he's a mid-3 ERA guy. But he's still Dallas Keuchel. We still know he can show up, and we know that he can show up in big games. We know he can show up in the postseason. So look at that Astros rotation. Verlander, Cole, Keuchel, Morton. That's a solid rotation that the Red Sox might have a tough time hitting because they're solid top to bottom, and then once you fight those guys off, you're going against one of the top bullpens in baseball. It's all about that offense. It's all about the offense getting hot, which we know they can do.
And we know the Red Sox can certainly get hot at a moment's notice. And I also think the home field advantage is going to play a big role, especially in close games here at Fenway Park. Okay, let's wrap it up by getting your prediction in this best-of-7 ALCS. Who do you like?
Astros in 6. I'm going to be here at Game 6, and I think I'm going to watch the Astros celebrate and go into the World Series.
I actually like the Red Sox in 7. I think it's going to be very similar to the 2007 ALCS between the Red Sox and Indians. The Indians obviously were up 3-1 in that series, and the Red Sox found a way. Both games 6 and 7 of that series were right behind us at Fenway Park, and that is going to be the scenario, assuming the Red Sox can bring it back here to Fenway Park. That will be the scenario, and I just like the Red Sox in a 7-game series here at Fenway. This Red Sox report has been brought to you by 1-in-100. Go to 1in100.co today and register for your chance to win tickets to games 1 and 2 of the ALCS between the Red Sox and Astros. Also, Nick, go to 1in100.co and register for your chance to win in a raffle some of the best concert and sporting tickets in town. Outside Fenway Park, he's Nick Quaglia. I'm Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.